Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the West End Imps show. As always, I am your host, Jake, and we're joined again by Mr. K, Chris. Dad, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all right, lad. Not bad today. Sorry, I was just adjusting my blinds because the sun was coming in, and
It is a bit sunny. If I look to my right through my window, it is incredibly sunny.
it's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. What wasn't a beautiful day yesterday was yesterday, Chris. Started off pretty well. We had a nice meal. I think it was called the Baguette Cafe. You had a lovely
Cracking cafe, that, yeah.
I don't know what it is. If you've been to Wimbledon, Leighton Orient, any of the London away days, let us know where you eat in the comments down below, because we could do with some suggestions. We've been to two really banging cafes over the last sort of 12 months, haven't we, that we've really enjoyed. Right, I'm trying to distract.
To be honest, mate, let's just talk about the food, because there's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
about the football, is there?
and a cracking ham, cheese, and mushroom omelette. No, we're gonna have to talk about the football. Unfortunately, I was trying to put it off, but Charlton away, pretty tough game. One of the bigger grounds in the league, which maybe we thought we might going to go there and do well, but quite the contrary. Lineup was announced 2:00. Yeah, obviously Harry Boyes came in for his debut at left wing back, which meant Sean was dropped. Ben, obviously, House was ill or injured after the Ipswich game. Apart from that, I think it was Max came in for Matty Virtue, but there weren't any other changes. I can't recall.
No, I think Sean. I don't know. You said he was dropped. I wasn't sure he was dropped. I thought he'd picked up a knock.
Oh, he's injured as well. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah. So that was really, that set the tone. I think losing two of our good, impressive performers throughout the whole season in Sean and Housey up front. I think we had to, make do with what we've got, which is going to be currently, by the looks of it, Sanders and Sorensen in the middle. Hopper. We haven't got. I mean, Kendall's on the bench, isn't he? Makama was on the bench and came on. But yeah, you're probably not ready to start either of those two. So it was pretty much as, I guess, expected. Although we were surprised because we hadn't heard anything about House or Rowan before the game. So then, obviously, we were spreading some comedy rumours that they were both off to Forest Green. But yeah, I mean, it was what it was, and it'll be what it'll be, I guess, moving forward over the next few games until we hopefully get some bodies through the door. Yeah,
definitely needed. I think maybe it was the first 10 minutes. I thought we were actually pretty decent. We had a few opportunities. I think it was Danny definitely had a shot saved by the goalkeeper, which could have gone in. We were able to pin them back, to be fair. I think we sort of surprised Charlton with how we started. We were obviously clearly playing for long throw-ins in the first half, trying to get the ball into the box and caused a little bit of panic because they were missing a couple of defenders. And to be fair, I think it sort of worked, really. We were definitely down the far end of the pitch more times in the first sort of 10 minutes, weren't we? It was quite a positive and good start.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the opening 10 minutes or so. Really on the front foot from the kickoff. Putting them under pressure, pinning them back. So it was all set up for us feeling like, wow, I didn't expect us to start necessarily as well, just given the sort of changes that had been made. I thought it might take us a little bit to get into a bit of a rhythm, but we started really brightly, and I don't know what happened to suddenly end that, because it just came to a sudden halt, and then whether Charlton suddenly decided that, oh, hang on a minute, we're in a game here, or whether they tweaked anything a little bit, but we just suddenly got really overrun in midfield kind of from about 12, 15 minutes on, and that led to both goals, really, didn't it?
Yeah, from what I can tell, Mark sort of pushed Lass and Max up the pitch maybe 10 yards further. Obviously, in the post-match interview we listened to, trying to get out of London, which was a bit of a nightmare. But not as much as a nightmare against Wimbledon, but it looked like he pushed Max and Lass up 10 yards, which sort of meant that Charlton were able to cut through our midfield a little bit quicker, and you could tell because the goal come down our left-hand side. It was across to the back post, and the smallest man on the pitch, Scott Fraser, must be almost classified as a midget, bless him, able to rise. And to be fair to him, it was a good header. It was back from where it came from, across the keeper, and Rushworth got a hand to it. but I don't think he got unfortunate with a bounce, I think, onto the underside of the crossbar, and they went in. But I was very alarmed at the speed at which they just cut through us for the first goal. We'll come on to the second goal in a minute, but what were your thoughts on that first goal for Charlton?
Yeah, exactly the same. It was like really poor. I think 2 passes and they were in on goal, and there was just no midfield at all. Positionally, I thought we were poor in the middle, leaving just massive space and giving players lots of time. I think what I noticed quite quickly after that initial 10 minutes was how much we missed Ben House and that leading from the front and that high press, because we weren't able to do it. Hopper is not in a position to chase down everything like Housey does. And I felt that had a huge impact because we weren't able to box them in like we can do and have done previously. So, yeah, just a really disappointing goal to give away. We had, I think, 4 or 5 defenders in the box, and we're not a small defensive backline. Those 3 central defenders, they're big fellas that should be winning headers and not making it as easy for a teeny tiny little dude coming in to head it home. So I felt it was just a really disappointing goal to give away.
Yeah, I think the second one is the more disappointing out of the 2. It just looked like a hot knife going through butter. Scott Fraser picked the ball up in midfield, completely waltzed past Sanders and Sorensen. Lovely ball, to be fair to Scott Fraser from a Charlton point of view. It's a lovely team move. Scott Fraser's ball is perfectly weighted. A ball into Corey Blackett-Taylor, who I think completely steams towards the goal and hits it that hard that it gives Rushworth not so much time to react. Obviously, I'm a goalkeeper myself, so I'm sort of maybe defending the indefensible here. But a lot of people said that he probably could have saved it, probably should have saved it. But I think he's hit the ball at a really awkward height for Rushworth at a very fast pace and into a corner where it's very hard to save it. That's my opinion. But nevertheless, it's got past the 10 other players, but pretty easily as well. So maybe that's why I would defend Rushworth. But what's your thoughts on the second goal? Probably more disappointing than the first.
Yeah, I just thought they were both really poor to concede in the build-up. We didn't close down. We just allowed them to waltz through, like you say. You're keeper's union, so you'll defend the keeper quite rightly. From your perspective, I thought he perhaps could have done a little bit better. I don't think it was his near post, wasn't it? And yes, he walloped it, and it was a great strike. But I think any keeper's going to feel disappointed getting beaten on that side. So for me, it should never have got to the point where he was given that much space to just charge into the box and lash it home.
Yeah, absolutely. And at half time, then we saw when the players came out to warm up at half time, the subs bench, Teddy Bishop was going through quite an intense warm up. We sort of felt that Teddy was going to come on. He did. We went to a 5-3-2, so we swapped the front line off. Jack Diamond came off after being pretty ineffective, to be fair. I thought not his best game, but he's had pretty good games, so he's got enough credit in the bank for me. Just it shored us up in midfield a bit more. We went man to man with them in midfield. We were able to get a hold of the ball a little bit more. I thought Teddy did really well when he came on. Pushed us forward. Danny Mandroy went up front with Tom Hopper, which was a little bit indecisive. Didn't really think that worked too well. But Teddy coming on and sitting in the 10 where his natural position was pretty good to see. What did you make of the first maybe 20 minutes of the second half? Because I thought we were just about edging our way back into the game. I thought we were the better team in the first 20 minutes of that half, but still we weren't great.
Yeah, I mean, it gave us the formation change gave us a bit more sort of stability and a bit more solidity because the extra body in the middle of the park made a big difference. I thought, Diamond was ineffective, unfortunately, but equally, whenever he got the ball, 2 or 3 of their players are around him, and that's the problem when you have a player that you're heavily reliant on, like we are with Jack Diamond, to be that kind of creative spark, to be that one that's going to go and take players on. If you put 2 or 3 men on him, he's going to just not really get into the game. And I think Hopper was massively isolated. And we've got now Harry Boyes, who actually I thought had a really good game. In fairness, he's come straight in and just been sort of dropped into that team, probably without a great deal of time, at the training ground and learning the patterns of play and stuff. But yeah, I felt we were just a little bit more solid. It was definitely an improvement on the first half, significant improvement on the first half. I quite liked. It felt a little bit at times like Mandroiu and Bishop were kind of like in a double 10 role, kind of sort of a round hopper, which in the first half, Mandroiu and Diamond weren't getting kind of close enough to Hopper. They weren't getting in and around the box for me. So it felt like I'd never felt we were going to, get anything from the game, but at least it felt like, there was a positive change made sort of tactically and with the substitution to try and give us a little bit more of a foothold in the game, because the sort of last 35 of the first half it reminded me a little bit of Burton. We were all over the place, looked like strangers at times.
Yeah, we got away with one as well. I think it was Max or Teddy played a really stray ball behind Harry Boyes, and they probably should have scored. Great save from Rushworth, and then Lee Byrne completely skied it. Not sure how he did that, but we did find a way back into the game, which indicated to me that the formation change did work. I think we had 3 bites at the cherry, 2 block shots, and then a lovely finish from Danny Mandroiu in off the underside of the bar. I think it might have been outside of the foot, similar to his goal against Sheffield Wednesday. Cracking finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good goal. The second half, we had more men in and around the box, and you're going to score goals if you've got more men in and around the box. We can't be reliant on, someone like Tom Hopper to be the sole person to be scoring the goals for us. And it was very much, I think Mandroiu looked comfortable and confident in that position, and I think he was picking up pockets of space. He's got a really good, intelligent reading of the game, and I think he was finding space, or he was pulling players away to provide space for others. So. Like I said, I didn't think we'd get anything from the game even when we scored, but it was good to see that the second half was markedly different performance-wise from the first.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you could tell the nerves were sinking in with Charlton, because they were just dropping deeper and deeper. We had a couple of opportunities, none better so than the one right at the death. Could have been a potential handball. I think their lad was literally laying on it with his arm. I'll have to see it back, but it looked pretty dead cert from where I was stood. Sorry, but then the ball forced Danny Mandroiu. The man, to be fair, on the pitch, you wanted it to fall to. After some really good work from Jovan Makoma, who came on and had a really excellent.
He did well, didn't he? Yeah.
Appearance. But Danny, inches wide of the post. I think it probably whiskered the post as it went past. You just felt like. That had to go in, didn't it? It was just great effort, good technique, but just the wrong side of the post, unfortunately.
Yeah, real shame. Real shame. I mean, there's not a lot more you can say, is there?
No.
But, he hit it well, did the right thing going for the, opposite corner, and it was a whisker wide, and them's the breaks, I guess. And, I think really we'd have come out of that. If we'd have come out of that with a point, we'd have been very, very lucky indeed. But I think I just enjoyed the performance of the likes of Mandroiu and Bishop, and I think Makama made an impact when he came on. I think at the time he came on, we were kind of thinking, well, that's a bit of a surprise. Why is Kendall not coming on? But then he reminded me a little bit of their 33. Is it Leeburn or Ledburn?
Yeah, Leeburn.
Really big striker, young. He's big. He's strong, Makama, and I don't expect to see him a great deal more this season. I think another loan might be on the cards, perhaps. But at least we've got that ability to bring someone on, and when he came on, it was just like, we're just going hell for leather now, just pump it forward and just try and pick up the loose balls from knockdowns. But yeah, he showed a few nice touches, didn't he? And just a real shame at the end, Mandroiu couldn't just have it an inch the other side.
Yeah, and we'll move on to man of the match then, because we're trying to forget this Charlton game and focus on MK next week.
Well, that becomes a massive game, doesn't it, for me?
Yeah, absolutely massive. Chris, who have you gone for man of the match?
Well, I've spoken about them warmly in terms of specifically the second half performance, and I think that was due to the tactical change. So I'm giving it, not just because he scored the goal, but I just think his overall performance, his reading of the game, his ability to pick up space and all of that stuff. For me, it was Mandroy.
Okay, I've gone for the new lad. I think Harry Boyce slotted in really well at left wing back. You could definitely tell that he was fairly new to the group, but put in a couple of really nice balls into the box, a couple of really good free kicks. You can tell that he's an absolute pinpoint crosser, and given time and a bit of time with the group, a bit of training where he understands what we're trying to do, I think he's going to be a real weapon for us down that left-hand side. A really, really encouraging debut. Anyway, we've gone on for about 15 minutes now, so we have to draw a line under the Charlton game. I'll be at MK next week. Mr. K won't be. Mr. K might be asking me about the game next week. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you for sticking around. Thank you for coming back on, Chris. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, we are desperately trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on the channel. So please do share it with your friends. Please tell a friend. It'd be massively appreciated by myself and Chris if we were able to reach 1,000 subscribers. Also, just that's basically it. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Up the Imps.
Up the Imps.